please stand, and I guess we'll have Mr. Antos lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Rich?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief Curran?
Author of divine providence, with confidence we offer our prayer to you as we begin our meeting to do the business of our city. May we always remember and appreciate the gifts you are so generously given to all, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Give us the strength and wisdom to work humbly, act justly, and know you are always with us. In our prayers always, we commend our servicemen, women, and their families, that they may remain safe and return home soon. With our nation's Memorial Day only a week past, we remember all those who gave their lives for others, the greatest gift of love in the face of great evil. We ask God to accept their great sacrifice and help us always to remember that sacrifice. Amen.
Thank you, Chief. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Curran,
Here.
Haddad, Knapp,
Present.
Levy,
Present.
Seabury,
Present.
Stanley, Taylor, Kola,
Here.
Negusha,
Present.
Ellis, Cabo,
Present.
Sadi, Visconti, Palma, Wetmore,
Present.
Nero,
Here.
Perkins,
Present.
Shinies,
Present.
Rotella,
Here.
Scotsafava, and Tyshaw.
There being 16 present and 5 absent, let the record reflect the following. Mr. Haddad is out of town with the youth baseball team. Mr. Taylor is not feeling well this evening. Mr. Hallis is at a family event. Mr. Sadi is at another event. He should be here in the next 15 minutes or so. Mr. Palma was called out of town this evening for an important business meeting. That should be it. There will be 16 present, 5 absent. The first 30 minutes of each council meeting reserved for public speaking. If there's any member of the public that wishes to address the council this evening, you may do so. However, you must be a resident and/or a taxpayer of the city of Danbury, and you must address the council about a specific item that is listed on the agenda tonight. With that, is there any member of the public that wishes to address the city council this evening? Any member of the public that wishes to address Mrs. Waller?
Lynn Walker, 83 Highland Avenue, Danbury, Connecticut, and I'm a taxpayer, as well as a mortgage-free property account. Anyway, I came to address item number 4, the Farrington Woods property. I was a little surprised to see how reasonably we rented the house. There aren't any houses that you can rent in Danbury for just $1,000 a month. I know I'm saying just, but for the most part, we've been looking for rental properties and that sort of thing, and most houses are at least 15 if not higher up. So I just wanted to say that if it's a way to make more money for the city, we guys reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Waller. Appreciate your input as always. Any other member of the public wish to address the council this evening? Seeing none, then we'll move on with our regularly scheduled meeting. I have several announcements tonight. First and foremost, we have some very good news. Billy Tyshaw will be home tomorrow from his service to our country. It's a happy day at the Tyshaw's house and a happy day in the city of Danbury. So I've been able to stay in touch myself with Billy by Facebook, and we're just really proud of him and his service to our great country. So pass it along to him in the morning. Bring him by when you get a minute. Get settled in. We'd like to see him. June 18th is City Councilman Ben Chinisi's birthday. Congratulations, Councilman. There are also a bunch of other activities, items that are on your agenda. I'm just going to try to hit the highlights. The Lebanon American Club Scholarship Dinner is at the Amber Room on Thursday evening, 6 to 9. You can talk to Tom Sadi about the details with that. The Westerners breakfast is the next morning at the Amber Colonnade. I think the speaker is, of course, my favorite team, the New York Mets, ex-Met Ron Darling. So he'll be here to share his insight into Mets baseball. In addition to that, on Saturday, we have the social media fair on the green. It's $10. And it's also the Maker Fair, so it's a combination of both. There'll be a whole bunch of interesting workshops and things that are going on that day. I want to thank Bruce for pulling this together. We're anticipating a pretty sizable crowd. We were having an event on Friday night, but we are expecting inclement weather on the green. So we're going to not have the event Friday night. There was going to be a kind of a mixer, if you will, underneath the tent, but we may not erect the tent until early morning because of the storm that's coming in. So that has been postponed, and we'll try to reboot that next year. Excuse the pun. June 9th is a great, if you want to see something really interesting, the Danbury Fire and Police Fishing Derby is at Kenosha Park. A lot of fun, a lot of kids that are participating in that, as well as the Greater Danbury Soapbox Derby. That is also, that's hosted at Casper Street, which Mr. Hydrola will have nice and clean and ready for the kids. In addition to that, June 15th, we pulled together a Candlewood Lake cleanup. It's taking place in Fairfield, but all the CEOs of the 5 surrounding communities of the lake are participating. Love to have you stop out. It's really for cleaning up around the lake. People bring their boats to Cottonwood Cove Marina in New Fairfield, where they can throw items out free of charge that they collect, on the lake. It's not so you can empty out your basement, put on your boat, and drive it over. We'll also have hot dogs and hamburgers, and just kind of as a thank you for everybody out there, all donated by Winters Brothers and a couple other folks that have helped put some money together. On the 15th in the evening, in the afternoon, is the Elks Lodge Flag Day ceremony. I've kind of been a lone wolf there, so if anybody want to show up, that would be really appreciated. It's only about half an hour. Celebrates our flag. And in the evening is the Portuguese Scholarship Dinner. 16th is Father's Day. And of course, June 19th, I caution everybody to stay away from Danbury High School. It's graduation night, and we're graduating about 700 kids, which means you're going to have about 1,500 to 2,000 parents, grandparents, and happy relatives. So the traffic is usually a challenge. The 21st is the Greater Danbury Chamber Leaders Luncheon, and there's a bunch of graduations from middle schools at that day. We are having the Lebanon American flag raising on the 23rd at noon here at City Hall. And of course, the City Center Farmers Market opening is at Kennedy Park on June 28th. And then the fireworks, our traditional annual fireworks, on the 29th of this month for the 4th of July weekend. That is by no means all the events that are occurring in the city. It's very busy this month, as you can see, and that's summing up. We also have some sad news to pass along to you. Many of you know Denny Janney, who is our civil service director and our chief examiner. Her husband passed last week. There is a ceremony that will be a remembered ceremony, celebration of life, on June the 9th. You can contact Jenny Alaska-Warner as the Human Resources Director, and she can give you the details if you wish to attend. I think that's at Hatter's Park on the 9th. So we extend our deepest sympathy and condolences to Denny and her family who are going through a very difficult time as we speak. Other than that, today has been somewhat unbearable. If you could bear with me this evening. All right, let's move on. Mr. President, can we have the minutes, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion at this time that we waive the reading of the minutes, as all members have copies. The copies are on file in the Legislative Assistant's office.
Motion made, second, Mr. Negrishet. Are there any corrections, deletions, or changes to the minutes as presented? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds on acceptance. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Mr. Majority Leader, may we have the consent calendar?
You certainly may. The consent calendar for June 4, 2013 reads as follows. Number 3, received a communication from the Assistant Director of Finance, Dan Garrick, and approved the appropriation of $83,800 to the ambulance fund for additional costs related to vehicle use and maintenance, as well as upgrades to the mobile data terminals and related emergency medical software. Number 4, received a communication and approved the proposed residential lease for the Chow House in Barrington Woods as requested by the Superintendent of Public Buildings Richard Palazzo. Number 7, receive communication to adopt the resolution authorizing Mayor Mark D. Boughton to apply for and accept funding from the State of Connecticut Department of Education for the City of Danbury's youth service operations. This funding not to exceed $70,000 per year for the 2-year contract starting July 1st, 2013, ending June 30th, 2015. Number 8, receive a communication to adopt a resolution that will allow the City of Danbury Department of Health and Human Services to accept funding from the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health, the allocation in the amount of $96,371.78 for the period from July 1, 2013 to June 30th, 2014, and will be used for promote programs within the department. No local match is required. Number 9, receive the communication and adopt a resolution that will allow the City of Danbury Department of Health and Human Services to accept an amendment to the City Emergency Shelter Funds from the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health. The current funding of October 1, 2012 to June 30, 2013 will be increased from $90,277 to $90,860 and will be extended 1 year to June 30, 2014 as allocations become available from the state. Number 10, receive the communication and adopt a resolution that will allow the City of Danbury Department of Health and Human Services to accept additional funding from the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health for the existing preventative health block skin cancer awareness contract. The increase in the funding totaling $4,208 expires June 30th, 2014. Again, no local match is required. Number 11, receive the communication and adopt a resolution authorizing Mayor Mark D. Boughton or his designee to execute an agreement for the conduct of a test pit and related work on Route 37 and Stacy Road pursuant to said agreement with the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation. The total reimbursement for the test pit cost is estimated at $89,655.48. Number 12, receive the communication from the ad hoc committee and adopt a resolution authorizing Mayor Mark D. Boughton to sign the Charter of Compassion as recommended by the committee. Number 13, receive the report and recommendation of the ad hoc committee to ratify and renew proposed contract for the ambulance and advanced support services between the City of Danbury and the Western Connecticut Health Network from July 1, 2013 to June 30, 2018. With an option to renew for 5 years commencing July 1, 2018, should both parties agree. And that, Mr. Mayor, is the consent calendar for June 4th.
Thank you very much, Mr. Majority Leader. What's your pleasure, Council? Mr. Knapp?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent calendar as presented.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Wetmore. Any discussion related to the consent calendar? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, signify by saying nay. Ayes have the motion, carries unanimously. To our City of Compassion folks, congratulations. Appreciate all of WestCon's hard work on this, and we'll work together to help formulate our plans and move forward, and just appreciate you being here. You're welcome to stay and hang out if you really want to see city government action, but if you leave, we won't be hurt either. So,
We're taking double twist.
there you go. Take it over. All right. Good job. You're welcome. Okay, Madam Clerk, item.
Communication downtown liquor stores. Your members of the City Council. During the past few months, I've had conversations with our Unified Neighborhood Inspection Team and the Main Street Partnership about the possibility of establishing at 10 a.m. opening for liquor stores within our downtown revitalization zone. I request that you designate an ad hoc committee to examine this possibility and potentially adopting a corresponding ordinance. Sincerely, Mark D. Boughton, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I want the record to reflect that Mr. Sadi has entered the chambers. What's your pleasure, Council, on this? Councilman Negushev.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to refer this to an ad hoc with a representative from the Mayor's Office, a representative from the unit, as well as Corporation Counsel, the chairperson from City Center, Director of Planning, and the Director of Economic Development.
Ad hoc committee shall consist of the following: Councilman Knapp in the chair, Councilwoman Teicholz, and Councilman Perkins. Item 2, Madam Clerk.
Beautification self-insurance reserve. To Mayor Mark Fountain, from David St. Hilaire, Director of Finance. As you are aware from the recent budget process, the city and the Board of Education have been committed to working together to find the most cost-effective solution in dealing with the significant annual rate increases in providing health insurance for our employees. Mayor Fountain's directive was to propose a solution to this costly growing problem that would consider the unique plan provisions of both the city and the Board of Education while minimizing the impact of the taxpayer. The city's finance team worked very closely over the last several months with Board of Education Finance Director Joe Martino and his team to explore all the options available. The simplest answer offered the best overall long-term solution for the city of Danbury taxpayers. Combine the plans to spread the risk over a larger pool to reduce our premium costs and to minimize the reserve requirement for a self-insured plan. Our current health provider, Cigna, was selected after careful consideration of the proposals from the 3 major healthcare providers, Cigna, Aetna, and Anthem. Please keep in mind that this change is significant but necessary for the long-term savings in healthcare costs. One of the most significant changes in moving from a fully insured plan to a self-insured plan is a requirement to establish and to fund a self-insurance reserve to cover the claims margin. The first year amount for both the Board of Education and the city is expected to be about $2,200,000, or 7% of claims. This amount will need to increase over the next few fiscal years until it amounts to about 20 to 25% of claims. Please consider establishing the following reserve account for self-insurance so we can allocate surplus funds as necessary and when available. 014-2400-2690 reserve for health insurance. I appreciate your consideration of this matter, and call me if you have any questions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I didn't mention earlier, but Mr. St. Hilaire would be here, but he had an accident over the Memorial Day weekend, so he's going to be laid up for a couple of weeks. Not a car accident, will survive, but just by watching this streaming online, so I didn't want to totally talk about your health condition, but that's why he's not here. So no disrespect to the council. Anyways, what's your pleasure, council? Mr. Knapp.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to motion to receive the communication and adopt the proposal of Mayor Mark Fountain to establish a self-insurance reserve for both the Board of Education and city employees' health insurance program totaling $2,200,000 or 7% to be used to cover the anticipated claims margin.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Councilman Nickerson. Let's start with discussion under this item. Mr. Garrick is here, they can answer any questions as well. Mr. Visconti.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through the chair to Dan, if I may. Dan, could you just really give us an overview of what exactly this is going to be doing for the people that will be involved? How's it going to work? Also, I have a follow-up question too.
Okay. This does not change, saying up front, this does not change any plans that are in effect right now. This is changing the funding method. So the city takes on the liability of the claims. We're not paying a premium anymore to Cigna, we're paying for administration of the plan. Again, it's the same plan. So what we're looking here for is authorization to open the reserve account. And what that does is we have an anticipated claims for the year, and then on top of that, we purchase a aggregate stop loss, so that worst case scenario, that aggregate stop loss will kick in. But the difference between those anticipated claims and aggregate stop loss is 25% of the anticipated claims. The difference of that is what we're trying to build up in the reserve. So again, worst case scenario, we have funds to pay for those additional claims.
Sure.
Thank you, Dan. Follow-up. where would the unions and retirees, folks like that, where are they going to fit in with the situation?
Their benefits would continue just as they are now. Again, it's us paying Cigna to administer those claims instead of paying a premium to Cigna. So no benefits change for either active employees or retired employees. Same exact plan, same benefits. It's just that the way the cash flows is basically the best way to describe it.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Rotel.
Thanks, through the chair to Dan. All right. What, 5-10 years from now, what level of funds would you like to have to cover this?
Well, what we want to do is the aggregate stop loss is 125% of anticipated claims. So what we want to do is build that reserve up to the 25% of anticipated claims.
Which would be how much?
Well, at this point, it would it's $7 million. And we're looking at 2.2 for next year. We probably build that up over a 3-year period.
Those are both sides, city and Board of Ed.
And the way we're doing that is we're funding it to the fully insured quote that we got from Cigna. So it's not any higher than what fully insured would be. And if the claims are less, we can use those funds to build that reserve even more, or we can use that to reduce the future years' expenses.
Well, if I can sort of continue the conversation, one of the reasons people get insurance is to spread the risk, and now we're spreading the risk to the taxpayers, essentially. And I just want to let you know that I've been a proponent of self-insurance for years. If I'm not advocating, I'm at least asking, is this the year we're going to do it? So I'm happy to see that we're progressing on this. But I think that one thing we should consider going forward is to put the safety of the taxpayers at the head of the line. It would be great if we had a nice little pile that we weren't spending and we could reduce co-pays and do things like that. But the day may come when we get nailed in a couple of years, and we will wish that we hung on to that surplus. So I would like to see us get at least that 125, if not a little bit more, so that we can, and maybe even think about reducing the payments to the reinsurance companies, so that we really can start saving some money. And also do with the insurance companies, which is to reinvest these funds and get them to work for us. But I'm certainly in favor of this. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Mr. Rotel. Further discussion, Mr. Shanisi.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through the chair, just so I understand, so currently the only thing we're really doing is just establishing a line item on the budget for this account.
Right.
Are we transferring actual funds into this account currently, or just establishing the fund?
If we have a positive year this year, we'll transfer funds into that account. If not, it will happen, next fiscal year. But that'll give us some flexibility to start building that now.
So in other words, if we run a surplus at the end of the year by June 30, which we probably won't until August, whatever we have left over, we're going to put in this account. And then the savings that we receive between self-insuring and going fully insured, that delta will be put in here as well. And we budgeted to the fully insured number so that we would have a little bit of room there to start creating this reserve fund. What's the benefit of this? The benefit is you're not going to be subject to 25 to 28% increases every year. Right now, we're one of the few cities that doesn't self-insure. And we really got to get off this merry-go-round. So the idea here is to minimize our risk. We have a stop loss for anybody, God forbid, gets catastrophically sick. And on top of that, you can look towards more reasonable increases that are manageable. And that's kind of why we're doing it. But you're spot on, Mr. Smith.
So just understand, so we started at 0, and by June 30th, 14, we're going to have some dollar
Right.
in this account.
Yeah, our goal is to at least be at the 2.2 million level in that reserve.
Thank you.
Further questions, Mr. Perkins?
Thank you, Your Honor. Through you to Dan. Excuse me. Let's just say that we do get the reserve to a level that we feel comfortable with. You said maybe 3, 4, 5 years or so. Are there kind of a set of metrics that we can look at data-wise to see if this thing is actually effective in saving costs? I think the mayor may have mentioned one about 20%, but can you give me like a few more, maybe possible line items that you would be looking at to see if this whole program is effective?
Sure. We have hire a outside consultant that helps us every year when we go to renew with our current carrier. We just go out and get quotes, from those 3 viable carriers in this area. They look down and they sit down and look at our claims, and that's the one thing that we use to actually, I want to say, drive down our original quotes that we have for them. For example, when we got a 25% increase, they sat down, looked at it, and said, no, your increase should really be 18%. So after months of negotiating with them, we got down to 18%. They can tell by the amount of claims, the type of claims, and that sort of thing without, looking into any, violating HIPAA. But they give us a really good sense of, what is making the most sense. And the great thing about this is this will allow us to reduce, future increases in health insurance.
Thank you. Follow-up, is there any way that we can maybe get some kind of update or something to see how all this thing's working? Thank you.
And you will see it in next year's budget too, right? So, and just so the council's aware, not necessarily related to Mr. Perkins' question, but in general, our pricing is driven by claims history. The better claims history we have, the lower insurance rate, even in a self-funding option. So one of the things we also got to work on, and we've been talking about, is working on wellness programs, education of our employees to avoid injuries, and to, when they do get injured, to be proactive in the mental care versus waiting until it becomes catastrophic. So. Further discussion. Mr. Levy.
Let me think if I understand this, if I may, through the chair. When my house insurance went up too high, I had to increase the deductible on it so I could get the premium down. Is that essentially what we're doing here? Is we're taking on some of the risk so that we can keep our premium down?
It's not quite like that. I guess you could look at the stop loss that way. There is a difference. Okay, we anticipate, say, $10 million worth of claims. So the 25%, you could go up to 12 million, 12.5 million before the stop loss kicks in. So you can look at that as your deductible. But this is really, we're paying a carrier to administrate the plan. Right now, they're keeping about, well, I shouldn't say they're keeping, it's costing us about 20% for administrating the plan now. If you look at the current claims, this would reduce it to about 10%. So it's really the administration of the claim that you're saving.
And if I may, in the past, have we always covered on the insurance every first dollar coverage, or has the city absorbed some kind of deductible?
Well, we paid a premium, and therefore the claims were paid. The whole liability was on the carrier, where we would be taking on that liability.
And we'll be administrating it? Or
No.
the insurance company?
We'll continue to have Cigna administrate the plan, but because we're taking on the liability, they're reducing the cost to administrate the plan.
Thank you.
Any further discussion about this? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries unanimously. Items 3 and 4 are on consent. Madam Clerk, item 5.
Communication donation to the Still River Alliance. Dear Mayor Brown and members of the Danbury City Council, as you know, the Health Department's Greenway consultant, Jack Aljarowski, has been working with the Still River Alliance to recruit Still River stewards to adopt a section of the Greenway, subsidize a needed function for sustaining the Greenway, or to provide a donation. We have recently made a presentation to the Kimchuk Corporation where we requested their assistance in removing tree blockages and debris that accumulated behind these garbage dams on the Greenway. Kimchuk was gracious enough to offer a $3,500 donation for this sustainability function to keep the river navigable and to remove the eyesore of accumulated garbage behind these blockages. Therefore, I respectfully request the City Council accept this donation of $3,500 for the Kunchak Corporation. Sincerely, Scott Leroy, Director of Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. What's your pleasure, Council? Mr. Wetmore.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to receive the communication and accept the generous donation and send an appropriate letter of thanks.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion under this item. Mr. Visconti.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through the chair, if I may, to Scott.
Mr. Leroy, please.
Scott, could you give us some information of where about this work will be done in the store?
It's in the Commerce Park area in and around Kentuck. They want to promote the use of the green light, but our borders do not enjoy it. And there are areas from the storms that do need improvement. The store lines want to relieve that eyesore and flooding issues as well. So we want to be proactive and support the store. We're a railroad alliance, and they did it in terms of a donation, knowing that we could do the work.
Follow.
Please follow.
Kimchuk is located where in the Commerce Park?
I remember the sun.
He's right across, that's right across from the, engine 24.
Yeah, right there.
So that blockage that's behind engine 24 is...
Yeah, well, the greenway goes behind the building.
Right.
And, you know, if we can include an area, if the funds allow, we will. We intend to expand it. If we can use it all, and we want to make them happy because they're good public partners, so we'll try to work with them over there. They would like to use it as well. So. As well as the solar alliance, there's a lot of people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes, Mr. Prince.
Thank you, and through you to Mr. Leroy. There's a catchy little phrase in your sustainability function to keep the river navigable. Apparently that means more than one shot deal. How long can we expect this to go on?
You're going to see those words in our ladders of support and donations because the state, with the grant that we have for the trails and the things, so the trail agreement, requires that we get ladders of support to show that the businesses want this work and want it to be continued after the grant is over. So the donations prove that they support the work, and the letters are actually a deliverable for the grant. So it all works together.
Follow up?
Yep.
I don't think I heard how long they're going to...
Well, I believe the Store of Alliance has been in creation since before I came around. They intend on meeting for a while, and I think that the county council just created it as a city entity, so they intend on doing that. If you'd like, I can get in touch with Jack or Ed.
Well, I mean, I thought you would say like 1 year, 2 year, whatever. That's what I
It's been years.
Just this funding here.
Well, the funding will be used this year, because we want to get it done before the next storm. But the concept is to keep it going year after year. So I didn't understand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Further discussion about the donation? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, item 6, please.
Resolution, the naming of the Armed Forces Reserve Center. Dear City Council members, as you know, the new Armed Forces Reserve Center is under construction on Worcester Heights Road in Danbury. The center is not only an important element of the recent realigning and strengthening of our national defense system, but is a valued addition to our community. In conjunction with construction of the center, the 99th Regional Support Command is in the process of accepting recommendations for the naming of the center. As such, we submit for your consideration the attached resolution supporting the naming of the center as the Veterans Memorial Armed Forces Reserve Center. This name has the support of Danbury's 411th Civil Affairs Battalion, Mayor Mark Bauman, and the Danbury Council of Veterans. It is a name which recognizes the contribution of all veterans of every branch of the military through our nation's history. We hope that you will support this resolution, and please feel free to contact us with any questions. Truly, Joseph Cabo, President, Danbury City Council. Tom Basadi, Minority Leader for Danbury City Council.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. What's your pleasure, council, on this item? Mr. Seabury.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to accept and present a resolution supporting the naming of the soon-to-be-constructed Armed Forces Reserve Center in Danbury as a Veterans Memorial Armed Forces Reserve Center.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Sadi. Any discussion? Mr. Sadi.
Thank you, Your Honor. I first want to thank President Cabo for not only his support, but putting forward a joint request for this resolution. As the letter states, with the Armed Forces Reserve Center moving along, the 99th Regional Support Command will be reviewing the proposed names. And while the 99th will be the ultimate authority, by virtue of that, the Army will be the ultimate authority as to what the Armed Forces Reserve Center is named, they will consider recommendations through the 411th Civil Affairs Battalion. And while there is not a formal process by which local entities like City Council, Veterans Council, etc., submit their recommendations, those recommendations can go forward to the 99th with the 411th packet and their recommendation. That chain of command will make the ultimate decision, but we think that, and discussing this with many members of our community, yourself, Your Honor, and President Cabo and others, that this name, Veterans Memorial Armed Forces Reserve Center, does exactly what it purports to do, is honor all veterans. And some people have concerns, discuss that with myself, with yourself, Your Honor, members of this council. Why don't we name it after a particular individual? Why not possibly General Worcester or Lee Hartel or others? Those are all considered. And in discussing this with liaisons of the Army, the feeling was that they wanted something that would honor current service members, those killed in OEF and OIF, and also that other installations, other facilities had already been named after these individuals, such as Lee Hartel and others. So that being said, it seemed that this was not only an appropriate name, but an excellent one, as the communication says, encompassing all our veterans, memorializing those from all wars and all branches. The length of the name may seem cumbersome, but it does, my understanding is the Armed Forces Reserve Center does need to be part of the name because it will be a joint center. And with regard to the process, and there may be a concern of naming it after something besides an individual, I've done some additional research, and there are installations not only named after regions. There's one named after Bluegrass in Kentucky, and there actually also is a recommendation in the Army regulation which considers the naming of a center with either a temporary name or quite possibly a name. I'll give you an example, I apologize. There's one example given as Southern Maryland Memorial U.S. Armed Forces Reserve Center. So I think that this will withstand muster, but in the end, it will be the Army, but we hope that they'll consider this name. I thank you for that, and I hope my colleagues will support this.
Thank you, Mr. Sadi. Any other discussions related to the Armed Forces Reserve Center? As long as it's not the Newtown Reserve Center, which is still technically the name of this facility. It's a step forward for us, but other discussion. Yes, Mr. Cobb.
Your Honor, thank you. I too would like to thank Councilman Sadi and you and your office and the members of the leadership of this council for the work that was done to put this name forward. And I know probably, like most reserve centers, this will probably be referred to by most people as the Danbury Reserve Center, but it's right and fitting, I think, that we suggest the name Veterans Memorial, and thank everybody for their help and their involvement on this. And let's hope we have a good outcome with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any other discussion related to the Reserve Center? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries unanimously. Items 7 through 13 were consent. Mr. President, department reports, please.
Your Honor, I motion that we waive the reading of the departmental reports as all members have copies, and copies are on file in the legislative assistant's office for review.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Negushev. Discussion under department reports. Discussion. Mr. Perkins.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just got an email the other day that these booklets that we get at our council meetings are going to go away. I guess we signed off on a form requesting how we want them to be delivered in the future, whether it's going to be email or hard copy like we already have. I guess my question is, if we can do that with the monthly reports, why can't we do it with our council books?
Well, Mr. Perkins, it's not on the agenda, but that's not really relevant. I want to answer your question for you. We haven't decided to do away with forwarding these agendas over the way they're currently delivered. The department reports are on file and are available. Some of them are included here, and they can be emailed to you. The actual booklet, though, per, I believe it's ordinance, has to be delivered. We did move from police officer to constable a couple of years ago. Look, I'd love to be able just to email you a copy of the agenda, but we're not there yet. Although the software programming we have could do it, but we're not quite there yet. And we'd have to change and amend the ordinance as well. Some people like their book. Other discussion. I just want to commend Chief Harold, there he is, and Chief Baker and the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection on their hard work today related to our visit by the bear. And can't make it up, I'm telling you. 12 years as mayor, I've seen it all now. But they really did a phenomenal job and got our friend sent to a better place to roam freely. Also, Antonio's crew was involved as well. So I just want to thank them. Nice job. And, pretty exciting morning in the city. I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing. I'm going to stop there. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Other discussion. Seeing none, then I'll try your minds and acceptance of department reports. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, I'll extend all committees and entertain a motion to adjourn. Made by Mr. Wessler, seconded by Mr. Nero. All in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.